Oh, welcome, beautiful friends. Okay, Cindy, here comes your turn. You ready? Your turn.
Welcome, beautiful friends.
Thank you, honey. So you guys may have discerned that Cindy's nowhere in the joy ship here, but her spacious presence is. She's up in North Carolina celebrating the birth of our latest granddaughter, Sawyer is her name. So we welcome another Christ incarnate into the world in our very own nuclear family. And by that, I mean close family, not explosive. But we got our share of that too, haven't we?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, so we're going to kind of pick up where we left off with Lorraine, who was our guest host last week, who took us on that beautiful journey of like the ocean and surfing this wave and feeling into, using spacious presence or our light, however it's working for you, into our magnificence and our power. And we ended that meditation in a circle where we were all together as equals. And as we claimed and felt our own unique magnificence and power, that radiated around the circle and contributed to everyone else in the circle, and likewise their gift contributed back to you. And why really is that? Has anybody really let it fall deeply into your being, the value of our differences? Just let that one really drop into your being. Have I welcomed and recognized the value in our differences? As you get on a spiritual path, I mean, you hear it all the time. I found my tribe or my like-minded friends. We find comfort in something reflecting back to us, something that is familiar in us. But as unique expressions of the mighty I am, unique expressions of this one infinite field of presence, isn't it our differences? And by this, I don't necessarily mean differences of opinion, because nobody's opinion's right. None of our beliefs are ultimate and absolute and sacrosanct. They're all just temporary ways that we are using belief or thought to experience a current, present physical incarnation. But have you realized the value in the differences? And when you truly receive this as the gift that it is, you will recognize that the uniqueness of every being in existence gives contrast to your uniqueness. The greater the uniqueness, the greater knowing of self there is. So valuing differences, and again, this is beyond arguing for opinions or rightness or wrongness or teachings or versions of history and any of that, but valuing that as I know another, that reinforces my knowing of myself. They may be playing with energies that you don't like. Doesn't that enhance your knowing of yourself? They may be playing with energies that you do like and encouraging you to play with them in different ways. Doesn't that enhance the knowing of your unique self? So are we willing to interrupt our incessant need to judge differences and welcome them? Celebrate that differences identify the unique expression of another being and they highlight through contrast my own unique expression. Mine's not right and theirs is wrong. Mine's not better and theirs is worse. Mine is mine and theirs is theirs. How cool is that? Each being freely expressing in time and space the uniqueness that we have each chosen through our beliefs, through our thoughts, through our relationships, through our choices, because exploration of uniqueness in form is what we've all been experiencing. But we have felt separate from others in that process. We have used others to either elevate ourselves or to diminish ourselves. Rarely do we say, wow, there's someone who's absolutely equal to me. If you watch your mind honestly, you'll see you're playing the better than, worse than game. You know, like those things when we were kids in school, greater than or less than. We tend to play that game an awful lot. But what if rather than playing the game of comparison, we welcome the realization of contrast? Freeing that being to be exactly as they are, which frees you to be exactly as you are. So this is part of claiming our spacious self, is by claiming how we are uniquely expressing the potentials of an infinite self. And while we're at it, I would like to totally destroy once and for all the image you have in your mind of an ideal self. Everybody's got one. Everybody has one. You probably have several. You've got the ideal image of your physical body. If your physical body was ideal, what it would look like, what it would feel like, maybe even what it would smell like. I don't know. But we also have ideal selves, mental pictures of how we're supposed to act or supposed to behave, or we're trying to be like, if you really want to reach out there, we're trying to be like Jesus or some other spiritual, blah, blah, whatever. But those mental images in our mind, self-created, unique to each one of us, serve to facilitate an inner comparison in the same way that we tend to do outside of ourselves, so we never come to a self-acceptance that then can highlight and celebrate our uniqueness. Because if you've been on this pathway long enough, you realize your mind will always update that perfect image so that it's always out of your reach. Trying to say, well, if you were Christ-like, you would be walking on the water. Well, if you were holy enough, you would like everything. Well, if you were holy enough, or if you were like this, or if you were like that, all of it pretty much saying, I'm not okay as I am. And the truth of the matter is, however you are is an utterly free expression of all potentials. And it's exactly what you've chosen it to be. You're free to alter it at any time. But what if you altered it because you chose to, not because you were comparing yourself against someone else or against this spiritual image you hold in your mind? And let yourself feel the difference. I choose to do this rather than I have to, or I should, or I ought to. So what if we began to use creation and everyone and everything in it to highlight our uniqueness and the uniqueness of all other beings. And we drop the comparison game. Totally drop the comparison game. Because what fun would creation be if we were all the same? What fun would it be if there were only one flavor of ice cream? What fun would it be if there were only one thought system? What fun would it be if there were only one flower, one star, one planet, one tiny potential? So take a really deep breath, and we're going to take a little journey through a doorway that some people call death. I call it the threshold of life. We've stepped across it many times, but we're going to do it in a little bit different fashion tonight. So take a deep breath. And on the exhale, just realize how safe you are here. Another deep breath in. On the exhale, am I willing to take a journey and merely be in discovery? So Cindy, can you read the quote from Anita Morjani that we posted on the Facebook page this week? We're going to kind of use this as a starting point for our journey.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. When I was in the near-death state, not only was I without my physical body, I was also without my gender, my race, my culture, my religion, my beliefs, and my ego. And yet, without all these earthly elements, I was not a reduced version of myself. I was actually something far, far greater. I was expanded, more powerful, more magnificent, and I realized that the earthly life elements I had always thought of as me actually reduced me. They limited me and made me far less than I actually am. Without these boundaries, I was limitless. I was part of and one with everything.
Just for kicks, honey, read it again. That's so. Just open your beings and let it flow through.
When I was in the near-death state, not only was I without my physical body, I was also without my gender, my race, my culture, my religion, my beliefs, and my ego. And yet without all these earthly elements, I was not a reduced version of myself. I was actually something far, far greater. I was expanded, more powerful, more magnificent, and I realized that the earthly life elements I had always thought of as me actually reduced me. They limited me and made me far less than I actually am. Without these boundaries, I was limitless. I was part of and one with everything.
Thank you, honey. Okay, so take a deep breath and close your eyes. And heretofore, each time that we journeyed into spacious presence, whether we did it through the spaciousness in the body, or whether we did it through the relationship between sound and silence, or whether we did it between the blackness of the lack of physical vision and physical vision's counterpart, in whatever way we touch that vast, formless, boundless sense of spaciousness, using our sovereign light, we consciously and usually unconsciously pull the human image of ourselves with us into that space. We still think of ourselves as I, John Mark, touching or having an experience of spaciousness. So today, using Anita Moorjani's beautiful revelation of her experience, we're going to touch that space and not bring along our particular humanity. When we cross the threshold together, we're going to consciously know that we are letting go as an identity, our gender, our past, our future, our relationships, our beliefs, our convictions, our fears, our guilts, our pathways. We're going to let it all go in the same way that death facilitated that movement for Anita. We're going to do it in life consciously. So take a really deep breath, and on the exhale, just be willing. There may be a few among us who have actually had a near-death experience. Most of us haven't. You don't have to know how. The power and wisdom of your sovereign light knows how to make this journey. So bring your awareness to your physical body. If spaciousness is your easy way, bring it to the silence. If sound is your easy way, bring it to the inner darkness. If vision is your easy way. And recognize that as you're sitting there or laying there, you know exactly who you are. I'm Karen. I am Rick. I am Linda. I am Laura. I am Joyce. There's no doubt about it. You know this is your finite form. You're intimately familiar with it. And you're also certain that your expression as Bev or Lorraine or Savannah or Angela had a beginning, and it will most certainly have an end. We can honor this temporary journey as we have expressed it uniquely. We can honor the physical body that we're in as we have expressed it uniquely. We can celebrate that the body was always a master of here and now. But for a moment, let's just be willing to set aside our name, our gender, our memories, our hopes, our wishes, our beliefs, our worries, our needs, those who we believe need us, those who we believe we need. We simply set them all aside, and as we slip into that spacious presence, let yourself be the limitless power and freedom that is that light. free of a physical body and its limitations, knowing no beginning, having no end, containing all power, containing all wisdom, pure being, pure consciousness, pure potential. And as that spaciousness, know I am free. And just like Anita, feel that in the letting go of your human form and all the familiarity with it, you have lost nothing and gained all. And know that this timeless, formless state of existence is your eternal truth. It is from this limitlessness as spirit that you have chosen. Wow, I wonder what it would be like to enter into the earth, take a physical form, and forget my limitlessness. The power of true creative choice is as that vast, formless, limitless spirit. So take a moment and appreciate this eternal life that you can be and experience. No need for a car crash to kill your body. No need for an overdose to kill your body. No need for the grim reaper of time to catch up with your body. Now, you use the sovereign power, which is that light, that limitlessness, to set aside all things temporary that you might again rest in your limitless, free, and eternal nature. When the Master spoke of being born again, this is exactly what he was talking about. We don't do this through faith. We don't do this through having done great works or accomplished walking on the water or anything else. We do it through the simple use and expression of our limitless power as light and presence itself. No amount of self-improvement of your earthly being will bring you here. No earthly accomplishment will earn your way. There is no door. There is no gate. You are free here and now to reclaim that which has always been you. So let yourself feel and experience this and unlike our physical uniqueness, know that this vast presence is utterly the same for all beings. All are utterly equal in limitlessness. All are utterly free beyond beliefs. All are known as pure spirit, pure freedom. And in that spaciousness, let yourself realize there is only I am. All concepts of God are gone. All religions, thought systems, pathways disappear. Effortless. Jesus, of course, calls it a return to a place we've never left, a journey of no distance and no time, and no frigging death is required. And this has always been within us. It didn't just show up tonight. It can't even go anywhere. It is this identity that the Christ claimed when he said, I am always with you. Not because he was being cool or loving, because he doesn't have a damn choice. As this vast, infinite, limitless being, we are all that one that is always with all. Can we give up the seeking and the trying to understand or the need to get it or to line up all the seeming contradictory dominoes of our various spiritual pursuits? And can we merely die to our chosen limitations and claim and be and enter in to our infinite and limitless selves? As you begin to let your awareness come back to your physical form, recognize that it is you as light, as limitlessness, who are choosing consciously to step into the uniqueness that you have created as your physical body, as its physical consciousness, as its name, as its gender, as its beliefs. A wee bit of a spiritual Humpty Dumpty that we have each uniquely created to experience and express uniquely all potentials that can be known and expressed in form. Putting on your body mind like you put on your shoes in the morning. But you need not become only that physical expression. You may remain vast, spacious, free, and unlimited, bringing that limitlessness into form consciously. Perfectly capable of being in this world, but not of it. Honor that temporary creation that you have believed yourself to be. Celebrate it in its uniqueness and its beauty and its perfection, just like it is. Claiming your eternal identity to create, express, and experience through the unique form that you have heretofore known yourself to be. And as you rest as that limitlessness in your physical form, are any of the beliefs you thought were so important before, are they really such a big deal? Or are they just temporary ways in which you are experiencing your uniqueness in form? Are your beliefs any more right than another? Or do they just provide contrast that highlights our differences and our uniqueness? So we begin our journey of claiming our spacious self. We have learned the sovereignty of our light, unique and individual to each of us. We've learned of and awoken the mastery of our body to be eternally present. We've played with various entry points to unity, spacious presence, sound, vision. Now we begin the journey of claiming and operating from this spacious self. And we can't do this with words. We can't do this with mantras or affirmations, but we can and must, if we truly want to experience peace, power, freedom, limitlessness, we must live from that. And the only thing that is required is to hold very loosely this temporary identity that we have mastered and claimed, honoring its uniqueness. There's nothing to run away from it. Each of our unique expressions is perfect. We don't have to behave our way into some spiritual ideal. We merely reunite the heaven of our limitless eternal spirit and our temporary limited creation. So that we can have full life experiences. We don't need near-death experiences. We can have full life experiences. Operating from a limitless, eternal, formless, powerful, utterly safe consciousness, identity, expressing in, as, and through temporary expressions, each beautiful, magnificent in its uniqueness. Wow. And we don't have to wait for, secretly wish for, or hasten death to have that experience. None of us may be published authors because of this, but I bet we'll enjoy our lives immensely. So we make real this eternal self, this spacious self, not by imagining it, not by thinking about it, not by talking about it, but by abiding in a feeling communion and using the simple intent and choice of our light to transfer our identity from the temporary to the eternal. We do not need to deny anything about our temporary nature to do so. We do not need to fix anything about our temporary nature to do so. But as we claim and begin to operate from a feeling communion, a unity with our eternal self, change very well may come. Because would you do fear-based things if you are operating from your limitless consciousness? Would you spend any time judging unique temporary expressions? Or would you be in appreciation for the beauty of their uniqueness? But that change will come effortlessly and naturally, not because I have to change first to be holy, not because I have to change to meet some crazy, unattainable spiritual image I've held in my mind. We are free. We are free. We are so stinking free. And we can choose consciously to release in little bits or completely our identity as our temporary form and claim our spacious self. And then enjoy the ride of what will come. Sameness of freedom, sameness of limitlessness, sameness of pure potential, sameness of being, of consciousness, expressed in infinite and unique, utterly unique temporary expressions. Wow. And then we become the Word made flesh. We're in the world in our temporary forms, but our consciousness is vast, peaceful, unlimited, free, full of wisdom, full of compassion, full of mercy. And we allow that to operate, these temporary forms we once thought were us. No loss and only gain. And somebody's at the door. Perfect. Somebody else showed up to be part of our party. So let your eyes gently open if they're still closed, but use your light to hold that truth within you. Just because we open our eyes or we come out of a quote meditation or guided journey, we do not have to default back to our previous familiar states. And let your temporary consciousness recognize the relief of effort, the freedom from having to fulfill some image held in your temporary mind. Let any perceived gap disappear in the fullness of your present experience. So if we were to call that vast, limitless, pure being God, then what are all these temporary expressions but God in form? Each one unique, each one beautiful, each one holy. So this journey of claiming our spacious self, you could call it claiming your Christ self if you would prefer, but that will come with all kind of perceptions of crucifixion and resurrection, all kinds of unnecessary baggage. But if we claim this spacious self, we are freedom come first through our own claim, but we come to free a world from all we mistook it to be in our separation, in our denial of this ever-present, eternal, now union. And that's what Yeshua calls becoming the Savior of the world. Not that we change a stinking thing, but that we look upon it from and with the eyes of that limitless consciousness. And we see freedom in expression. Wow, that's cool. Isn't it nice to be off the hook of having to change anybody's beliefs or change anybody's mind or correct anybody else's perceptions? So your invitation this week is to recognize when you say, I am. And are you claiming a temporary manifestation as that I am? Or are you in feeling communion and claiming this vast, infinite, limitless, spacious self as you say, I am. Every moment, every now moment is a choice for you as light, as that spacious self, to remain as you were created to be, or to collapse down into a fearful, separate body-mind self. It's always and eternally your choice. But we reverse the direction. We claim now from the top down, if you will, or we claim and operate from the spacious self without the prerequisite that humanity has said must happen first, that you must die. And that's just the first of a whole laundry list of conditions. We took a journey today of 0 conditions, 0 prerequisites. Could there be a greater God? We merely entered in through choice, through a little willingness, and allowed our light, that very extension of God, to lead our way. Wow. Oh, that's cool. So you guys can all thank Cindy because she came up with the subject matter for tonight's journey. I wasn't exactly sure how it was going to go, but it went. We have a choice to operate as the light that we are, as our eternal being. We don't have to forget it. We don't have to be separate from it. But if we are, it's only because we've chosen to, and we're free to choose again. I don't really feel any questions out there, but if anybody has some, you're free to ask. Or if anybody has anything they want to share, you're free to share. Put it in the chat window, and I or Cindy will read it. There's a beautiful line in the Course in Miracles where Jesus says, you'll know when you've stopped asking questions. And we know that when we set aside our questioning, not knowing mind, and we enter into this spacious self that is free, that is, where all knowing is, because there are no questions. Not because every fact of every potential subject is known, although that's there too, but because there's no questions, there's no inherent doubt there. Wow. Amazing. Utterly amazing. Cindy, do you have anything to add?
Mm-mm.
Not at all? Did you enjoy your journey? You stayed awake.
I did. Thank you.
I love you, honey.
Yeah,
It'll be
that'd be
nice
too
to have
bad.
you back soon.
Yeah.
Oh. So it looks like all Nan can do is celebrate. Thanks again and celebrate us. Well, with that, my friends, I think I'm going to skip on a song for tonight and just let you each be however you choose to be. Resting in your wholeness while you sit there and wonder in your uniqueness, in your temporariness, your limitlessness, and your finiteness. No longer separate, no longer in opposition. Wow. I truly hope you'll enjoy yourself. Since we've forgotten for about the last 6 weeks, I will mention while you're abiding there as your infinite, limitless, abundant self, Cindy and I would welcome temporary donations because we always forget to ask. You ready, honey? We love you with an absolutely infinite love.
And a perfect peace.
Good timing, honey. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you both. Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Play well.
Thank you.
Play well.
Thank you,
Bye
John.
bye.
Really enjoy.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.